the doors
Right.
get closed.
They don't have the personnel to shut them down. So they have actually mailed the cease and desist order going, stop telling people you're giving them 4% on their money. Stop telling them they can refi their house because you're not doing any of it. You're just taking deposits. But they're still in business until they get to them. We'll be back. You're listening to the Patriot Radio News Hour. One of the few shows here that you in finance that we're in an industry that does not get bailed out. We don't get bailed out. All you people listening don't get bailed out who have taken our advice. And, let's face it, the debt time bomb is ticking out there, and it's going to blow, obviously, any day. And they won't be able to pump golf balls back into it to fix it. So, and I'm talking about the cease and desist orders that the banks are operating under. And I find this interesting that Washington State has 25% of their remaining banks are operating under cease and desist orders, according to the FDIC. In comparison, only about 19% of the banks in Georgia, home to more failed banks than any other U.S. state.
Wow, I feel better now that only 1 in 5 Georgia banks is on a cease and desist instead of 1 in 4.
It's crazy. Face such operating constraints. Cease and desist orders often are a sign that a bank is in deep financial trouble. So I think you need to ask your bank today, are you operating under a cease and desist order?
Don't you think they should have to, put that on the window of the entrance of the bank?
Now I'm reading it here and it says, even though it says that they're in deep financial trouble, doesn't mean the restrictions don't necessarily mean the bank will fail. I mean, let's face it, Wall Street can go to 36,000. Oh, I forgot, it's gold now that's going to 36,000. That's the new book, gold 36,000.
Now, why would they not fail? They issue more stock. What do? They get somebody to give them money.
Well, it says there.
Or what? All of a sudden, these people that haven't been paying their mortgage for a year and a half, all of a sudden miraculously start paying?
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? No, yes, they're all going to. They're all going to turn it around. I didn't even get to it yet. This morning on Varney and Company on Fox, they had a guy talking about California, and he goes, it's bad. He goes, have you seen it? He goes, yeah, I've seen it. He goes, everywhere you go, every little strip mall, the dry cleaners are gone, the little coffee stores are gone. It's the same way here, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, here we had more. We had title companies, drywallers, home builders, and they were everywhere.
You know it's bad when the outlet mall stores are closing.
Yeah,
and they're closing everywhere.
So anyway, of course, this whole bank problem and this contagion, 19% of the banks in Georgia running under cease and desist orders. Now, it would seem to me, I'm a little bit savvy in the ways of the world, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're working for a company, they come in and they serve cease and desist orders. I mean, they don't just send them in the mail.
No.
Okay, so
no.
They're court ordered.
Yes.
Cease and desist orders are court ordered.
You see them in the businesses that have closed. The landlord puts the cease and desist order right on the door with the date. They file it with the court, and you're out of business when you get one of those.
Yeah.
They change the locks, and you can't go back into the premises.
It is amazing. So here, how many banks are they? Probably all of them. How many banks are going to be left? 10.
Right, we've been talking about that. I think our debate was whether it would be 9 or 10.
So the other, we have what?
The other 8,000.
We had 8,000 banks that need to fail here. So now, here the front page, again, they didn't think anyone would read this over the weekend. Here in Arizona, commercial brokers project cascade of failure. Extend and pretend on bad loans may spell disaster. The housing market, of course, deep into the process of flushing out its bad mortgage debt, but lenders and borrowers of troubled commercial real estate loans continued to live a lie. Commercial real estate brokers have coined a phrase, extend and pretend, to describe lenders' sluggish response to the trillions, well, they wrote billions, but it has to be trillions of dollars in bad commercial mortgages on their books, while most Phoenix area lenders seem content at the moment to leave commercial property with their clients' hands by extending their loan terms. In other words, you think you can live in a house for a long time without making a payment? You ought to go ahead and build one of these commercial buildings. I mean, I don't get it. They don't take them back. They just sit empty.
We're not taking back houses for a year and a half, and if you live in the right state, almost 2 years. And now today we find out that they're not taking back the commercial buildings either.
Yeah, and they're not making any payments
just
on
so
them
they can pretend that they're not out of business.
Now you got vacancy rates at 30%, okay? But come on.
Doesn't work.
30%. Here's what they say, by the way. These are the really smart guys. Okay, these are the people that have run and put all the legislation together and the great American economy. The experts, the stockbrokers, financial planners.
The analysts.
You're going to love this.
The guys at the Federal Reserve and the U.S. Treasury, all of those guys.
The experts said that about 25% of the outstanding commercial real estate loans are in good shape.
So that way.
We're one of them, okay? Because the gold dealers. Just by the way, 25% of the commercials now everywhere are gold dealers.
25%. So that means 75% are.
Well, you would think not good. But these are again the really smart guys, the experts. So 25% of the outstanding commercial real estate loans are in good shape. Another 25% haven't had a payment made on them ever. Okay, and there.
Okay, so somewhere in the middle, you got 25% that pay every month.
Right.
You've got 25% that have
never paid at all.
Never paid a single penny since the day they built it.
Okay, now I went to public school. That totals 50%.
Correct. So that means there's another 50% that are behind.
Here's what the experts say could happen. The remaining 50% could go either way.
It's 50-50.
They got a 50 shot. So now you think about this. This is what they're saying is here. So what we're facing, ladies and gentlemen, according if I read this right,
okay.
And again, I was a kid that was always in trouble in school, that if things just don't work out quite right, like, Wall Street not going to 30,000 here by the end of the year, that we could be looking down the barrel of a 75% failure rate of all commercial properties in this country.
Well, that's the failure rate of the residential properties in this state. Might as well be the commercial as well. I think those numbers are probably the most accurate we've had yet.
Of course, the fallout from a mass widespread default will cause more bank failures and discourage out-of-state employers from coming to Arizona.
I'm going to tell you right now, the average person, even the people, even us, we don't get it. We don't get it. How can you have only 25% of all the mortgage commercial loans being paid
on time? I mean, and call it a recovery. Let me remind you, the Dow went up 70% the last year.
They were so proud of themselves.
While all this was going on.
So proud of themselves.
I mean, it is incredible. They called it, none dare call it a double dip.
But you know what? I'm not going to blame the bankers anymore. I'm not blaming Ben Bernanke or Alan Greenspan or the Treasury or the President. I'm blaming the Mayans. That's it. It's their fault. They did it.
Joe, we'll take my motor home and we'll start broadcasting from Glacier National Park.
We're going to Yellowstone,
in Montana. Patriot Radio News Hour will continue on a Tuesday.
Welcome back, Patriot Radio News Hour on a Tuesday. Feels like Monday, but of course the holiday is over. We're going to actually work 3.5 days this week, maybe 4, just depends. But we'll do a show today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. Probably get out of here a little early on Friday because, well, we can and we will. But I'm going to play this clip because you talked about the cease and desist orders. And all these banks are broke, and the broke lenders can't pay back the broke buyers, and so on and so forth. This is a little spoof on the European tragedy, if you will, that is going on, the contagion between all of these countries, and it's eerily similar to what is happening here in the United States, whether it be residential houses, commercial houses. the banks, the federal government, the cities, the states. And it's on our website if you want to listen to it again. You might want to. But anyway, here is the world economy and the world collapse in 3 minutes.
The explanation of the macroeconomic disaster that we're in.
Clark and Brian Doyle with a few reflections on Europe's financial woes.
Your name is Roger, yes?
Roger.
Ah, that's your name.
Roger.
Good. And what do you do, Roger?
I'm a financial consultant.
Ah, financial consultant, eh?
Roger.
Yeah, terrific. And, Roger, how's business at the moment?
Not bad, thank you. Been a bit quiet lately.
How do you mean lately?
Since the war, been a bit quiet.
Fair enough. Okay, Roger, your special subject tonight is the economies of the European community. Your time starts now. Best of luck.
Thank you.